Today we're going to do two dishes. They're both Lebanese dishes, and they are courtesy of Diane. I've adjusted it a little bit. Diane made that for lunch for us for 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they're really, really nice. The first one is called mujadra. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing it right. It's a lentil and rice pilaf, okay? So basically it consists of green or brown lentils. It's got cumin powder, it's got onions, it's got olive oil or nut oil, it's got water and rice. And basically that's basically it. It's a rice with lentils in it, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start cooking. I need to cook a lot of onions first. So I'm gonna turn my, so while the pan is warming up with oil, I'm just going to use canola oil because I prefer that to any nut oil. What I've done is I've cooked the lentils earlier because otherwise it'll take a long time. Otherwise it will take about 20 minutes for the lentils to cook, and then with the rice it'll be about 40-minute thing. So trying to cut down. So I've cooked the lentils separately with cold water. These are the brown lentils, or actually these are the green ones. You can use the brown ones. And it's 1 3/4 cups. I washed it, cleaned it, dried it, put it with cold water, and cooked it for about 15 minutes. So it's come up quite nice, and it's not soft or mushy yet, but it's soft enough to eat, okay? So I've got that ready. And my pan is getting nicely warm. So I've got my onions sliced. There's a lot of onions there, like 2 huge onions. So I'm make 1 really big onion and 2 smaller onions to make up the 2 huge onions. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry this, and half of it is going to be as a topping afterwards, and the rest gets cooked. Okay. The pan I'm using is a Bessemer pan, and because it's heavy gauge, it takes a long time to warm up. But once it's cooked, starts warmed up, it's really, really good because it's much more even, the cooking, especially for rice. Okay. So that's going to take a little bit of time. I can hear the nice sound and the smells just beginning to come up. I have cleaned 2 cups of rice, washed it, rinsed it, and I've drained it. So I've got it ready, and I've got hot water ready as well. So it makes it easier when I've got everything ready. One of the interesting things I found is that this is Lebanese food, like Diane will tell you, and it's very similar to Indian dishes, which is literally like North Indian dishes, because they tend to have pilafs there as well, which are rice and lentils, but we would use a different lentil. Sometimes we would use it rice and chickpea or rice and vegetable ones. Okay, so I think what's probably happened is that Middle East, Persia, North India, Arabia, they all tend to have similar foods because they did a lot of trades between them. So you would probably have, you have your Lebanese bread, which is a flat bread. In North India, they would have chapatis. There's basically a flat bread. Basically what they would do is flour mixed with water, flatten it up and cook it on a griddle. Like a solid metal or stone, hot stone. And they just slap it down, take it, and that's all it does. And that's what they use as their main food dish, So, and they would quite often have a stew to go with it. They will either have a lentil stew, or if they were meat eaters and things, they would tend to have goat stew, because goats are popular creature up in those areas. And that would be their meal. I'm not sure what in Arabia they use for their animals, what animals they eat, probably lamb. Diane, what do you all eat in Lebanon? Which animal? Beef? Diane?
She's on mute.
Oh. So it's beginning to turn a little bit brown, as you can see.
Okay, they eat lamb, chicken, beef, goats.
Goat as well. Mm.
Yeah.
So it's popular around those countries, I think, goat. And I mean, if you're a meat eater, goat is actually supposed to be a good meat to eat because it's got less fat. But it's also got a stronger smell, so some people don't like it.
No, I don't prefer it.
You don't, yeah. It's actually a very clean meat.
Yeah, it's nice, but I prefer the cheese, goat's cheese and goat's yogurt.
Okay. And some people who can't take cow's milk tend to take goat's milk. Because it's a lighter milk. Sorry, this takes a little bit of time. You have to keep stirring because otherwise it can get burnt. Like you can see the sides on the side, some of them are getting more hotter. Anybody got any questions about Majadra? So you can have rice pilaf with, instead of lentils, you can have it with vegetables, like you can cut carrots and cauliflower and things in thin strips and put that in as part of a pilaf with vegetables. The Indians call it pilau sometimes, or pilaf. In some of the recipes, even in the Lebanese recipes, they tend to use ghee instead of oil sometimes to cook the onions in, because ghee is actually refined butter and it's got a very, very strong flavoring smell. You know, it smells beautiful. If I was cooking with ghee, the neighbors will probably know that I'm cooking something. Can you see it's getting brown?
Okay. Yeah,
No.
a little.
No. Sometimes you add sugar in it, it gets browner quicker. I don't particularly want to do that. I think I'll probably take it as this. I'm a bit worried about it getting burnt. What I'm doing is going to take half of this out and put it on an absorbent paper for later. That's my dried rice. It's basmati rice, and I'm just going to put that in.
It's pre-cooked, right?
No, it's uncooked rice.
Oh,
It's raw rice, and it's just been washed and drained. I just cook it a little bit in the pan. Going to add the lentils in. The lentils have been cooked before. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I've got to add water, and I'm adding hot water. In the recipe, I've written 6 cups. It's got to be 4 cups, okay? Because it's 2 cups of rice, the 4 cups of water. Okay, making a lot of noise. So I'm going to lower the heat. Just reduce it to simmer. Can you see it's all bubbling away? You can't see. I'm just putting the salt in as well. So it's about a tablespoon of salt. I've just put a little bit less. Okay, and I just leave that to cook with my lid on. Okay, and that takes about 20 minutes to cook. Okay, that's for the majadra. And just to let you know, in the recipe, I've put in 6 cups. That's because what happens is that you cook your onion, you add your uncooked lentils in, add your about 6 cups of water, cook your lentils for about 15 to 20 minutes. When the lentils are semi-cooked or almost fully cooked, add the rice and the salt, and then cook for another 20 minutes, okay? So that way you need your 6 cups. Otherwise, you just do 4 cups for 2 cups of rice. So if you lessen your amount of rice, then you just have to put, if you're using 1 cup of rice, use 2 cups of water, okay? Just don't forget that. If you're using brown rice, you might need to add a little bit more water, okay? Any questions about the majadra? That'll take 20 minutes and that should be ready for us to eat afterwards, okay? I'm going to make the okra stew. And do you all know what an okra is? Any questions? Everybody knows what okra is?
Do you want to hand the pan up?
Okay. This is okra. I've actually cut some of it, and you get them either in small sizes about this size. Can you see what I'm showing? About maybe an inch size, or you get them like a lady's finger size, and it's another name for okra is lady's finger. So it comes to about, I don't know, 8 centimeters. But in Malaysian things, you would actually get them about 8 inches long. They're pretty long. They come about this long.
20 centimeters.
So a long lady's finger, okay? So this is lady's finger. I've actually bought these frozen ones from the Indian shop. So they are about this size and some of them are small. I've actually cut it up a little bit. Okay, so I've washed. If you're using fresh, you wash them and cut the stalks off. I'm just going to put some oil to saute the onions. Just inches. Can you see?
Yep.
The oil is warm enough, and when you put the onions in, you will hear that noise. Can you hear the noise? Anybody can hear that noise?
Yes, we
Fine noise?
can.
Yes. In the recipe I've got, we put the garlic at the end with coriander. Diane says you can put it now, so I'll do that now, so I don't have to fry it separately.
I got a question about okra. There's Eva grew some at home, but it was really, really tough. So that she doesn't know how edible it is if it's really tough. It wasn't like
Tough, it's not edible at all. You have to eat it when they're young. So maybe you waited too long. I'm also adding the coriander now. So you can add it now, or you can cook the garlic and the coriander later and add it at the end.
Fresh coriander will be lovely.
Sorry?
Fresh coriander.
Yeah, I'm going to add that as well.
Oh, okay.
This is coriander powder. I'll just let the onions cook so they're a little bit nice and soft a bit. And I'm just going to add, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the okra so the okra gets fried a little bit. Because you remember I added some oil earlier on. A lot of people don't like okra because it's very slimy. But if you fry it a little bit, it reduces that slime feel, you know what I mean? So the okra is just sort of if you don't like slimy at all, add more oil and fry it. Okay? Adding the tomatoes. So once you add the tomatoes, it gives you some liquid. Quite creamy around here, so I don't know whether you can actually see. You can see the okra and the tomatoes are mixing together.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Salt and pepper. What I'm going to now add is some salt, half a teaspoon, or 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm actually using a tiny spoon, so it actually is not exactly a 1 full teaspoon. What was it? Pepper. I'm going to just grind some black pepper in and about half a teaspoon. You put more if you like. Mixed spice. Okay. Here we got Lebanese mixed spice. I'm not exactly sure all the ingredients in it, but I know it's supposed to have some nutmeg and other things. This is courtesy of Diane. Diane, I managed to find where I can get them to.
Make spice.
Yeah, there's the spice shop in Randwick Village.
Oh,
So they had mixed spices, Baharat, Lebanese 7 spices.
oh, okay.
But it doesn't tell you what the spices are there. It
Yeah.
tells you in the shop. So this is, she's got this like an exposed one, and she just gives it to you and she packs it into a bag for you. But they've also got some already bottled. My thing is getting a little bit dry. So I'm just going to add some of the water, which I'm going to add for later, but I'm adding it now so that some of my sauces are getting,
Get you out of the camera.
oh, the pan's getting a bit black at the bottom, so, and that's where all the spices are. Okay. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of macel stock. And this is beef flavor because this dish actually has beef in it. But because it's vegan, we've decided to leave the beef out because I don't eat it anyway. So you just put beef flavor macel stock and it'll give you that flavoring you can get. What I forgot to add is my tomato paste. And I'm going to have 3 tablespoons of tomato paste in water. That's my 3 tablespoons. And I've just mixed it all up and I just add it to that. I'm also going to add some coriander in. And what I've got is in this, I've got just not only the leaves, but also the stem. Okay. I was tempted to put the root in because the root is actually quite flavorsome. But the root on the one which I got was not very good and there was not much of it, just a little bit. By the time you clean the outer layer, there was not much left, so I didn't worry about that. So, can you see how it looks? Just going to drop it to simmer. And I'm going to cover it so it cooks faster.
Coriander over there.
That's for the topping. That's basically what it contains, this dish. And once it's finished, once it's cooked, you just add lemon juice. I think the recipe says 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Like I said, if you didn't want to put the garlic earlier, then what you do is you fry the garlic with either coriander powder or coriander in a bit of oil or ghee and add it on top. Okay. Being vegan, I tend not to use ghee, so I would use oil probably. Maybe sesame oil if you want thick flavoring, or you can just use normal canola oil or olive oil. Okay, and quite often they tend to leave it with the oil to go in. Okay. While I'm waiting for that to cook, just I'm just going to put this away. Has anybody got any questions? Who we got? Eva, any questions?
Oh yeah, you know the when do you harvest the okra? Have you grown any before? Because I harvest. It was still very green. I mean, looking outside, but it was so tough to bite in.
Look, I've harvested. Put it this way: I've had about 3 okras which grew on my tree. First, I left it too long. The second one, I picked it early enough that it was nice. If it's young, the tip, you know, the tail end of the okra, if you snip it, it breaks clear.
Oh, okay.
If it is old, it will sort of like splinter open.
Yeah, that's what it happened. Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
And then it's no good. Actually, it's only good for doing patterns on paper. You know what I mean? If you cut it in half, and you got this really nice pattern comes up like a starish type with little round cuts. If you cut through the seeds, then you put on, you know, we used to play at work, at school. We used to touch color and make patterns. You know how you have potatoes cut into patterns and do? The okra makes a really nice pattern.
Oh.
Especially the old ones. Yeah. So you have to be careful with okra because they look young. Sometimes when you go to the shop and buy, they look, you know, very young, and then you touch them and you notice that it's sort of a bit dryish.
So you always test the tip.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys don't like you to test the tip in the shop. Okay. This one will probably take another 10 minutes to cook. And I just want to check, how's it going? No. There's another 5 minutes for the rice. Just wanted to show you what I made this afternoon. Okay. This is supposed to be a Lebanese cake called souf. Diane, is that how you pronounce it? S-F-O-U-F?
Soft.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
I think it's Namura, isn't it? It's semolina.
It's plain flour, semolina. It's got turmeric.
Yeah.
And the liquid is aniseed liquid because I soak aniseed in boil hot water, add aniseed, cook it for about 10 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, wait for it to cool, and use that water to mix the batter for the cake.
Oh, what is it called? Stoof.
S-F-O-U-F. Lebanese. Can you have
Vegan cakes. Spoof. Spoof. Ah. Yes, I know spoof. Yeah. Yeah, it looks good.
I made it this afternoon.
Wow.
Fortunately, I made the semolina I used was a coarse semolina. So you can actually see little dot things there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I use the finer semolina, you probably won't get so much of that.
Okay. Do you, did they say you have to put almond on it?
No.
There's
no almond. I put sesame seeds on top.
Okay. All right. Food. It's different. It's different.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and it said to use sugar, 1¼ cups of sugar, which I thought was a lot of sugar. And I had brown sugar.
Yeah.
And I put about a bit less than a cup. And it's very, very sweet.
Oh, wow.
As you can see, because it's sweet, it's very addictive, and I've already eaten 3 pieces.
Yes, it's evaporating already.
It's actually quite unusual. It's got this really different smell as well.
Yeah.
Normally when you have cakes, you put vanilla essence or you put...
Yes, yes. We
And
don't
this one-
usually put a lot of vanilla
Yeah.
essence, but we use rose water.
Mm.
Well, this recipe didn't have rose water because I've actually got rose water.
Oh,
I've got rose water, a proper Lebanese rose water. It's pretty old, but it's still good.
okay.
Yeah, but this one had an aniseed flavor.
Yes. Mm.
Okay, so I managed to get some aniseed at the spice shop in Randwick. It was open, thankfully. So I thought I'll make it. So next time I'm going to try making it with less sugar and use a finer
Semolina.
semolina flour, because it actually says semolina flour, not coarse. Because
yeah. The aniseed, it is very good when you have an upset stomach. You boil it and drink it. Aniseed seed, not fine one.
This one. I'll put some, if people want to see what it looks like, I'll put it on a, let me see what it will look better in.
One. Let's go adjusting it.
No.
Wait.
Oh yeah, and aniseed like this. You boil it.
Yeah.
And you put 1 teaspoon aniseed and you boil it for 5 minutes.
Okay.
It'll be
and then drink the water.
Yeah, you drink the water. It's very good for an upset stomach.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yes.
It's interesting because I've got another seed called an omum seed, which is half the size of that.
Oh.
Okay. And we use that for exactly the same thing. You got a stomach ache, you boil it and drink the water.
Okay.
Okay.
Majadra finished?
My majadra is done.
Wait to adjust.
Adjust it? Okay. I can see the lentils seem to sit all on the top and you just stir it up. Can you all see that there?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it in a white dish because then it looks nicer.
Yeah.
Yep. Looks good?
Yeah. We usually love a lot of onion fried.
Well, I'm going to put some of the fried onions on top.
Yeah. Looks good.
You think I can become a Lebanese?
Well, taste it first.
Okay, so it's, you can, if you want, add some nuts on top of it actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Pine nuts usually, or?
Almond, flavored almond, or walnuts, or whatever. But yeah, looks good.
That looks like the picture in the recipe I sent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So next time I can take my own picture.
Did you send it to me in Hotmail? Because I can't find it.
Okay, I might have to double check on that.
Okay.
Okay, this is my stew thing. Can you all see it there?
Mm.
Smells good. I'm just going to take one of the okra to see whether it's cooked. Taste test. Hmm. Like I said, this is frozen okra, and I have a feeling frozen okras cook quicker. And there it is. Let's serve that up. So if anybody wants a recipe for stew, I'll send that as well. And do you think you guys will try out the cake recipe? No, no. It's got a bit of sauce in it, so it's really, really nice, but it's not too wet. And it looks almost as good as Diane's a couple of weeks ago, Diane.
Lemon juice will be lovely.
Oh, I forgot to put the lemon juice, isn't it?
No, you don't have to cook it with it.
Yeah, I'll put it in here and stir it in there. I've actually got the lemon sitting there ready to put on. And my coriander that's for later. This is lemon straight from my garden.
Oh,
So I'm hoping it's got lots of juice in it.
Don't overdo this. Okay.
Okay, looks good.
mm.
Oh, nice and juicy. Okay, I'll only put half a lemon, Andrew, because my husband doesn't
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah. Mm.
There's a lot of juice in that lemon.
Oh,
I only picked it up today too.
taste
had a
it
very good-
more.
We've had a very good crop of lemons. Our tree's only not even a metre tall, but it's got about 30 lemons on it. It
Oh,
works really hard.
Just going to stir that in properly because otherwise the top will have lemon juice and the bottom will not.
Yeah. Mm. Looks good.
Looks good. It actually tasted good.
Oh,
I actually-
good.
Yeah. I must find out where I can get those okra, which is the little tiny ones which you have.
Yeah. I bought it from the Lebanese, that sell Lebanese food.
Okay. Where would that be? Just
Rockdale is one.
mm-hmm.
Hurstville is another. Yeah,
So that's
Garnished with
coriander.
coriander. See, coriander is very much used by the Indian.
Really?
Yep. We use the dry ones for cooking for all our curries. And we use the leaves for usually like certain dishes, we put it inside and cook it with it. That's with coriander and that's Mama Jadra. See? And,
Looks good.
and this
And
is
it's full.
Oh, yeah.
Full.
Ooh,
It's full.
It's sweet.
Looks lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, Eva, you can easily make that and make half the amount for yourself if you want. And
Yeah,
then
I
you can
tried
eat
the
it.
okra.
You probably like it. But you know, if you like with chili, just add some chili
Yeah. Mm,
Oh.
or some cayenne pepper. Depends on which way you like it.
mm, mm.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shana. Thank you.
That's okay. Christine, you're going to try making one of these things?
I might. Well, I've never tried okra, but telling me that it's a bit slimy and I mightn't like it. I don't know if I'm rushing to buy.
Well, if you fry it a little bit in a bit of oil, if you don't like the slimy,
Mm,
you can,
Yeah.
you know, what my mother used to do sometimes when she makes a curry sometimes is that she warms the oil up in, you know, in a small wok-like thing. We got little woks, Indian ones. And then she puts the okra in that, fries it and takes it out, and then cooks the curry with it.
Oh, right. Okay.
So then you don't have so much slime at all.
yeah, the slimy, the smaller the okra is, it's not slimy much.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
not,
yeah, okay.
yeah, the
So the little
smaller.
ones are not. Okay.
I've seen the smallish ones at Harris Farm.
Oh, really?
The
I've
really
been-
small ones, Christine?
I don't think they're huge. Not as big as you said, 8 inches. They're much smaller than that. I've
No,
never been going to
That's
buy them.
the Malaysian ones are 8 inches.
The Malaysian ones are long.
Right.
We don't get
Okay.
those here.
Then the ones in Australia you normally get is the ones which, the,
Okay.
you know, typical lady's fingers, so the length of your index finger.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Okay.
I've
But
seen it.
then the Lebanese ones which Diane managed to get is the size of like half of that or a third of that size.
Yeah, very small.
Mm.
So you actually cook them full. You don't have to cut them at all.
No,
Mm.
no.
With the first dish, Yana, with the lentils, were they dried ones that you cooked up first? Or
Yes.
just the- Okay.
Yes, they're dried ones.
Because those you have to cook for a while, don't you? Soak and cook for a while.
No, it's not, not long, not long at all.
Not like
I
this.
use these. Can you see?
What's it called?
It's not
Yes.
green lentils, but you can get them like the brown ones as well.
Yeah.
You-
Mm.
okay.
You have to
And-
soak them.
Surprisingly, the recipe says like, you know, takes about 20 minutes. It only took me 15 minutes to cook.
Mm.
You have to soak
And
them.
then I was adding it to the other one. So by the time it had another 10 minutes of cooking. 10, 20 minutes. Oh, yeah. So it's you want it firm, you don't want it going mushy.
Right. Mhm. Okay.
Mm.
Look, lovely. Thanks, Yana.
Thank you,
okay.
Yana. Thank
Pleasure.
you.